Well, it's that time of the week where we like to check in, see what's going on in the mid-Atlantic region around Maryland by checking in with Ben Hushon. He's with the mill in Whitehall, Maryland. We have him on the phone right now to get an update. And Ben, thanks for joining us. Last time we talked, you had been right in the middle of corn harvest activity, and you shared some video that you had taken at that time about what's going on with the harvest progress in that area. Give us an update, if you would, on what's going on this week here.
Good morning, Marlin. We've had a great week of harvest in the Northeast, or at least specifically in the Maryland-Pennsylvania border. Good weather actually continued, as has been the story every week, above average temperatures. That began to change. We got 1.5 inches of rain and lots of heavy wind Sunday night into Monday. So folks should be getting back into their corn and soybean harvest here, and also planting of wheat today at the latest tomorrow morning, I would think.
Those are some fabulous looking soybeans that you shared some video of. We're showing with our viewers right now. Tremendous looking crop there. Overall, how are the producers explaining the crop and its yield here this fall when they talk with you?
Well, Marlin, most of folks are coming back to us telling us it's been a really good soybean yield. Of course, there's always the ups and downs, and that was part of what we learned that we've been working the last few years with Edrich Farms down in Randallstown, Maryland, Baltimore County. Spent some time with him Friday, and he's a high management soybean guy, multiple through the field, checking plants, tissue samples, etc. But one of the challenges is if you're on the leading edge, I heard a fellow just say not long ago, sometimes that puts you on the bleeding edge, and you're not always going to hit a home run, but there's always something to learn, and that's what we're trying to tell growers. As they're driving the fields, looking out the combine, reach out to somebody to help you with a yield monitor, even if you haven't used it. Just get that information. If you don't have a yield monitor, stop it into the fields and make some notes on, what you saw, so you can compare this winter and go, that field looked better. Well, what variety did it have in? I mean, it seems like we get in such a hurry, and I understand that, but we also are growing a crop to our yield and our profit, so we can't remember it all anymore. We need to be writing it down.
Ben, you mentioned the fact that they're planting wheat right now. How much of the wheat crop in your area is no-tilled?
It used to be the majority of it. Now, with all the healthy stalks, with the improved genetics, they've kind of moved back into a light tillage. So between minimum till and no-till, I would say probably 80–90% of it is put in that way. You don't see a moldboard plow. Couple counties you might, but not right around us, and you certainly don't see a chisel plow anymore. So some form of a light tillage would be the most you would see.
Well, interesting stuff, and thanks again for sharing here, Ben. Always good to visit with you. Can't wait for the update next week, as farmers are probably getting close to wrapping up harvest at that time. Ben Hushon of the mill in Whitehall, Maryland, and we'll pause for a quick little break here, and when we come back, I'll run down all your latest futures trade in the grain and your livestock when we come back. Well, let's go ahead and run through all your futures trade for you, and we'll start off by taking a look here at our grain trade. And on the corn market right now, we did start out under a little bit of pressure at the opening bell this morning, and we're kind of maintaining that status right now. Now, on the corn, we have December trading 2 1/4 lower. It's showing a last trade of 346.5. It just, as we pulled it up on the screen, came off of the low of the day, so we're just one tick off of that now. May down 2.5, and July down 2.5 at 376.5 right now. That's only one tick from its low of the day. On that soybean trade this morning, we have the soybeans on the November contract one tick higher at 973. However, the active January contract is now down 3/4 at 983 3/4. We've come off our high by about 4 cents already. March down a penny at 9.94, and July down a penny at 10.11 and a quarter per bushel there. Now let's take a look at our soy meal and soy oil products for you, see how they compare. Now on the soy meal trade, a little bit of weakness, not very much. December down a dime at 312.20 per ton. On the soy oil market at the present time, let's start out with that December contract, which is down 12 points, now quoted at 34.56, and January down 13 points right now. I believe we had the canola prices here a little bit ago, and if we can pull those back up, we'll see what it's doing. Now, it is firming up here today, at least in most contracts anyway. Let's look at January. Let's pick that one out. It's up $1.30 in Canadian currency and trading at 518.20 per metric ton. Shifting gears to the wheat. Now, in the wheat, Ben Hushon was talking about the planting of wheat taking place in Maryland right now. December Chicago wheat, boy, a lot of pressure today. 5 1/4 lower now at 419.5, only one tick from the low of the day. July down 6 at 464 3/4 on the low of the day. How about Kansas City wheat, where we sold 100,000 tons last night? By the way, that went to Iraq. December Kansas City wheat down 5 1/2 at 416 1/4, and that's matching its low of the day now. July down 6 at 466 1/4, also on its low of the day. Minneapolis spring wheat trade. Let's take a look over there. Right now, you have your December contract down 2.5 cents. We're trading at 6.16 per bushel. That's one tick from its low of the day. July down a penny and a quarter at 641 3/4. That's on the low of the day. Boy, do you notice a continuing theme here? We're either at or near the lows on almost all these. And keep in mind, analysts have been warning ahead of time that today being the final trading day of the month of October, there could be a lot of profit-taking trades being reversed out or something before the end of the month just to close the books, make them look as good as possible. Now let's take a look here at our cotton market right now. We have December now trading 42 points lower at 68.22. And as we dive into the livestock trade this morning, remember, we had strong closes everywhere in livestock yesterday at the end of the session. We have the December live cattle currently 75 higher at 124.15. So now that one's interesting because when we opened things up this morning, it was actually lower. And now we have December actually within about a dime of our high of the day. So a turnaround already in the live cattle trade. And this is something that we saw time and time again last week, where it opened relatively weak and then firmed up through the session. February now 60 higher. We're at 128.05, and now that's only a nickel from its high of the day. How about feeder cattle trade today? Well, on the feeders, we have the January contract $1.15 higher now at 158.50. Now that's within 15 cents of its high of the day. We're off our low by $1.35. We have March now 83 higher at 154.95. On the lean hog trade this morning, we have some more new highs the way it looks, with December lean hogs at 65.82. That's 64 cents higher. Got as high as 65.92 in February, up 48 at 71.53. So they're off and running. And Christina, you and I have been watching this for about a week straight, where it just keeps firming up after a weak start.
After a weak start. It's been a very interesting ride these past couple weeks.
Absolutely, and today anything goes too.
Okay, thank you so much. Markets editor Marlin Bohling.